Hi guys, it's Kelly here. I drew this nice lovely prompt for you guys. I'm here in the Geneva Public Library. They can rent rooms if you want to, so that's really cool. Anyways, I had this problem here. It's really incorporated a lot of stuff that we learned a few chapters ago involving distance and midpoint. So what we have here, we have triangle, a really big triangle, A, B, C. Now if you notice here, the point for A is x comma y. We have to find that. For point B, we have 12 comma 10. Point C, we have 4 comma negative 2. Now, here's a problem right here. Given the midpoint of segment AC is 4 comma 4, right here, find the perimeter of triangle ABM. So we're given all this information, but now we want to find the perimeter of ABM. All right, so there are a few ways I can start this. Well, what we have to do eventually is we're going to have to find the distance of segment BM, segment AM, and segment AB. To find perimeter, we want to find the distance, right? So we're going to add the length of all these sides together. Well, the problem here is that, like I mentioned before, the coordinates for A are unknown. So since I know that my midpoint of CA is M, I'm going to start there. So I'm kind of going to work backwards with midpoint formula. We know that midpoint is kind of like the average between 2 points on a graph. So what I'm going to do, we know that our midpoint formula is going to be x sub 1 plus x sub 2 all over 2, right? Now for our y coordinates, it's going to be the same thing. So y sub 1 plus y sub 2 all over 2. So working in reverse, here's what I'm going to do. I know that my x coordinate for my midpoint is 4. So follow me while I do this. I'm going to say 4 is equal to my unknown value x plus my c value. This is my midpoint, so it's going to be the average between A and C. So x plus 4 all over 2, just following my formula. For my y values, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to start with my midpoint value for y, which is 4 again. I'm going to set that equal to my unknown y plus my y value of the other given coordinate, so negative 2 in this case. So I can just subtract, it makes no difference. All over 2, just following my formula again. So now I'm just going to go about and solve this like I normally would any other equation. So I have a 2 here and a 4 here. I want to get rid of this 2 in my denominator. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 2. So that would cancel out. If I multiply across, 2 times 4 gets me 8. This 2 cancels, so I'm left with an x plus 4. So now I can just solve like I normally would. So to isolate my x, I have to subtract 4 over. When I do that, I gain an answer. My x coordinate here will be x equals 4, because 8 minus 4 is 4. So moving on to my y coordinate, I just found the x coordinate of my A point. I'm going to find the y now. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I have a 2 on the denominator. I want to get rid of that so I can isolate my y. So I'm going to multiply this entire thing by 2. That cancels. 4 times 2 gets me 8. Now I'm left with the y minus 2 because this 2 canceled. So here we go. All right. So I want to isolate my y again. I had this minus 2. That means I'm going to have to add it over to the left side. So plus 2, plus 2. So that means 8 plus 2 is 10. So the coordinate for my A will be 4 comma 10. So I'm going to write that in now. All right, so to be honest, that was like probably the hardest part of this problem. Now what we want to do is we want to find the distance from M to B, B to A, and A to M. We can find our distance. When we add all those distances together, we'll get the perimeter of this triangle. Now remember, we're finding the perimeter of triangle ABM, not the massive triangle. That would have been too easy. All right, so I'm going to switch markers. I'm going to use the blue marker to denote the distance for AB. All right, so we know that our distance formula, I'll write it up here. it's going to be equal to, ooh, this marker's kind of sucky, sorry. We know that our distance formula, it can be written a few ways. It could be x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared in a big square root. It could be other way around. I'm just going to stick with what we learned in the first place, so I'm going to say, ooh, much better. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 square root plus x sub 2 minus x sub 1. All right, so I'm going to find the distance of segment AB first. So using my distance formula, I'm going to say distance is equal to square root. Why don't I say my 4 will be my x sub 1, 10 will be my y sub 1, 12 will be my x sub 2, and 10 will be my y sub 2. So I'm just going to plug in these points according to my formula. So y sub 2, that means 10, 10 minus another 10, perfect, squared, plus my x sub 2, which is 12, minus my x sub 1, which is 4 in this case, squared. So now, going with my formula again, distance equals the square root. 10 minus 10 is 0, so 0 squared, that doesn't even matter. 12 minus 4 is 8. 8 squared is 64. We all know that 64 is a perfect square, and that gives us 8 units. All right, so we found the distance of segment AB. I'm going to now use my red marker, and I'm going to find the distance of segment BM. All right, let's see. So I'm going to erase this now. All right, so I want to find the distance of segment BM, right? Well, I'm just going to do the same thing, find the distance. So I'm going to use the same formula, except this time I'm going to say that my 12 is going to be x sub 2, and my 10 will be y sub 2. So down here, that means my m value, my 4 here will be x sub 1, and my 4 here for y will be y sub 1. Just switching up, remember that you could do this either way you'd like to. Subtract x sub 1 from x sub 2, y sub 1 from y sub 2, it really doesn't matter, whatever you prefer. I'm just going to do this, following the same formula up here. So distance here will be square root. I'm going to do, following y, 10 minus 4, y sub 2 minus y sub 1, plus my x sub 2 minus x sub 1, so 12 minus 4, squared. I'm going to simplify this expression now. So distance equals big square root. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 squared is 36. 12 minus 4 is 8. 8 squared is 64. So now going over here, I'm running a little out of room, so I'm just going to go up here. All right, so 36 plus 64, that gets us 100. So square root of 100, another perfect square. This is working out really nice. Square root of 100 is 10, so we'll get 10 units. All right, so I found the distance for segment AB. And now I just found the distance of segment BM. So all I have to do now is find the distance of segment AM. Once I do that, like I said before, I can add all those distances together, and that will give me the perimeter of this triangle, which is the question that we're supposed to be asking. So now moving on, I want to find my distance again, so I'm going to be using these 2 points. So I'm going to say my 4, just randomly, is going to be x sub 2. My 10 will be y sub 2, which means down here my 4 will be x sub 1, and my 4 here for y coordinate will be y sub 1. All right, so let's get this started. Distance equals big square root. I'm going to do y sub 2 minus y sub 1, so that means 10 minus 4. So 10 minus 4 squared plus my x sub 2 minus x sub 1, or in this case 4 minus 4. Alright, so this is going to cancel really nice. We have 4 minus 4, that gets us 0. 0 squared is just 0, so I'm just going to cross it off. I really don't care about it. For here, 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 squared is 36. 36, we've really been lucky. We've had wonderful perfect squares. We all know that the square root of 36 is 6. So that means that our distance for segment AM will get us 6 units. Alright, so we're almost done. Remember that the perimeter of a triangle is the sum of all of its sides. So I found the distance of AB, the distance of BM, and the distance of AM. So all I have to do now to finish this problem is to add those distances together that I found. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my AB together. So perimeter that's going to equal my AB, or as we found 8 units, plus my BM, which we found was 10 units. Then lastly, I'm going to add that to my AM, which we found to be 6 units. All right. So we have all these 3 together. So now I'm just going to perform math. So 10 plus 6 is 16. 16 plus 8 gets me a final answer of 24. All right, so since I didn't give you guys any units to begin with, I just gave you guys a triangle with vertices. I didn't specify like, measure in meters, measure in centimeters. So that means I'm just gonna end this problem in units. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, just ask me in class. So thank you.